So I'm working over here. This is going to be the top piece. I'm putting on the 2x4 brace around the top part of the table. So I've got to do this end right here. And the top here, you can see where I kind of traced out. I'm going to have over there, you see the 1x3s. The 1x3s are going to trim. You can see where I outlined it. And then I'm going to put a little tire stop here with a 1x3 and another one going this way so that the Predator doesn't roll. Those 6-inch wheels will sit right in here. I'm going to leave this piece open to access for the oil and then run another 1x3 that way and across that way. Right now I'm just countersinking these screws going into the 2x4 so that when I set the 1x3 on there, it'll sit flush. That's going to be the bottom piece where I'm going to set the propane tank on underneath there. So whenever I want to use propane, I'll cut a hole in the middle piece for the tank to sit in on below. And then I'm going to come right here with probably about 1.5 inch hole so that the propane tank hose can feed up through here and plug right into the front and then have access down there. And I left myself some extra room here. I think the Predator probably ends about here. So I left myself plenty of space for tools to lay and stuff like that. But yeah, and then over here I've got my wheels, top plate. This is 3-inch wheels, 175 pound. I could have went with the bigger wheels, but I wanted to make sure that this fit onto the post. I didn't want, if I would have went bigger, then these holes would have been right on the edge of the 4x4 posts. So these will work. So I got 2 stationary ones for the back, and these will be for the front. So it'll be like a shopping cart where it will just be able to turn. So anyways, now I'm gonna get ready to put these guys on here underneath on both sides. And as I progress, I'll let you guys know how it goes. All right, so I flipped it over and I went ahead and clamped these end pieces on and got them straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over and pre-drill and get those in there. It's obviously not gonna be perfection. I'm not a carpenter by trade. I just try to do things myself. And I did look for some, Husky makes a table, but it's made out of plastic and it's kind of flimsy, and I wanted this to be specifically to the size of my Predator instead of trying to find a table that was already built. So that's my reason for doing this myself. Plus it gives me something to do. Okay, now I got the table turned over and I'm gonna go ahead and start pre-drilling with the bit where it will countersink the holes so that the screws are, because the 2x3 is going to sit on top. So I want those screws to be inset into here. So I'll get started and be back again. So yeah, this will sink in there pretty good. So I'll get these drilled in. Now we're going to take this 4x4 over here with my neighbor. He's got the big saw to cut these legs, these posts. So we'll see how that turns out. All right, we got the 4 legs cut, measured. We'll also accommodate the wheels.
Yeah.
But we're gonna router off the ends there. Now we're just gonna today focus on installing the legs. I'm also going to probably throw a couple screws to go down on this all the way around. And as you can see yesterday with Bob's help, my neighbor across the street, we got the legs cut and he did a little router around the ends here. And get those legs attached. Then I gotta do the bottom shelf. That would be the next. So we'll keep going. Okay, so I got two of the legs on the 4x4s and got them clamped on so I can drill them. Double check, to make sure they're square. And then I'm gonna go ahead and, just like I pre-drilled these screws and countersunk them a little bit, I'm gonna do the same. Going maybe 4 screws going into the post here. I have a couple going on this side. Once I get all these 4 legs pre-drilled, screwed, and on, I'll come back. All right, so I've got the 4 legs on. I just set the wheels on there right now, just so I can do a measurement from the bottom to the top. You can see I've got them all. I got 4 here, 4 there, all countersunk. They're in there pretty solid. Next, I'm gonna add the 2x4 bracing going across here to put that shelf on the bottom. So here we are. I've got all the legs are on. Once I get these all screwed and in all the way around, then I'm gonna go ahead and cut the bottom shelf and notch out the sides for the post. So we'll be back. So yeah, we have all the posts on, all the sides, and this is obviously going to be that's the bottom that will go underneath. This thing will flip over, of course, and then that tank will sit here on the bottom. I'll put a hole to where it will sink in, just like if it's in a barbecue. So that's what we got so far. Tomorrow I'll work on installing the bottom, cut out the notches. Then I'll go ahead and flip it over. And then I'm gonna trim it out with the 2x3s to keep it from sliding off the table. So anyways, that's where we are. Calling it a day. All right, so table is pretty much put together now. As you can see, this will be the top. I have this marked out. There's going to be 1x3s going along here, trimming all the way around. The generator back wheels will be sitting right here. 2 back wheels. I'm going to be putting a 1x3 here just for like a tire stop. So the 6-inch tires will just sit right here. Then I'm going to leave a space here open for accessing to change the oil. Then the 1x3 will continue all the way around. And then down below, it's all ready to put the bottom shelf on. So got the bottom shelf right here. It's ready to go, and we'll get with it. Well, I got that bottom piece in, and boy, like I said, I'm no carpenter, and you can see it's not perfect, but it's in there. And that's where the tank will sit. So I'll just draw a circle around that because I'm going to punch a hole to let that propane tank countersink in there. And then I'll punch a hole here. That's for the hose to come through. So the hose will connect here and go up, come out here, and go into the generator. All right, so we got the base out, pulled it out, clamped it down. We marked the hole for the propane tank. Now I'm gonna cut this hole out, make sure the tank fits before I put it back in. Once I got that done, then I'm gonna put it in and nail it down. Then we'll work on the top. We got the hole cut. I tried the tank. It sinks in there perfectly. So now I'll go ahead and take this bottom off, put it down there, screw it on, and we're done with that. I'll set the tank in there, then we'll work on the top. We're almost there, getting close. Everything is nailed in down below. Propane tank sits flush. It's not perfect, but it will work. Like I said, I'm not a carpenter. It's the first time doing anything like this, but I got screws in every possible place you could put a screw. So yeah, like I said, the Predator will sit here on top, the 5000, and the wheels will be back here. Punched a hole for the propane to come up through there. Still got to put the wheels on, and I got to do the trim, but that's it for today. I only can do a little bit at a time. All right, this is day 4. So now what we do is I'm going to start putting the trim on. This will be the first piece. This is so that when the Predator is sitting in here, there's no chance of it rolling off. It just kind of gives me a nice border trim around it instead of it just being flat. So that's the first piece in. We'll finish up around, and then after we're done with that, then we'll do the wheels. All right, so I got all the trim on around the top and the tanks in. We got the propane hooked up, and this hose will come out here, and this will connect to the generator here for the propane right here. So now I gotta flip it over and put the wheels on. So I flipped her upside down, and now I marked the wheels, and I'm going to drill those in with the lag bolts, and then I'll flip it back over, and it's pretty much done. Put the tank back in and put the Predator 5000 on top, hook everything up, and debating whether I want to paint it or not. All right, update. So the smaller wheels I had on here just didn't cut it. So I had to take those off, return them, and I went with this bigger size wheel here. And actually, yeah, it was a 3-inch wheel I was using, but it wasn't this polyurethane. So this is gonna be a 4-inch, 250 pounds, but this is gonna raise up the total height an extra inch. All right, so we got the 4 wheels. They're not completely screwed in yet. I gotta ratchet them down. This is the lag screws I got. 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. And so I got them all started on all 4. Now I just gotta ratchet these 3 down. This one's already down and in. Added this 2x4 here, and I glued it, screwed it here to the post, and then screwed it here. So it's pretty secure. So we'll see. Okay, there it is. Got the propane tank set in. We got the wheels in the bottom, and it rolls real nice. We just move this thing around. Rolls real good. The 5000 generator will sit here on top. I'm going to put some blocks here. The wheels are about 5.5 inches, so these will just keep the generator from, just lock in the 2 back tires. And then over here is where the propane will connect to the generator. And I'm gonna I got my putty out. I'm gonna go ahead and patch all these holes because I'm gonna paint this on the top and probably paint the bottom. But yeah, there it is. It's all pretty much done. All right, so wheels are on, everything. I decided to paint it. So we'll let this dry, and then we're pretty much set to put the tank back in after it dries, and then we'll throw on the generator. All right, here it is all done. Got the propane tank there, got a box with, miscellaneous stuff for the generator. And we got this opening here, so when we change the oil, we can access it here. We got the tires with the tire stop. You can see it's just molding. And So yeah, and we got the big wheels on it, and we got the propane hooked up. Everything's good to go. Turn it on. There we go.